Hey, beautiful humans, and welcome back to another episode of Aligned and Thriving for Teachers. It's Mel here again, and today we're diving into another big one, something that's been bubbling inside me for a while. It's about passion, purpose, and product. Three words that came into clear focus for me after the absolute chaos that once was COVID. And that completely shifted how I see my life, my work, and even the way I show up in this world. And this one's part of storytelling, part pep talk, part soul check in, and I hope it meets you right where you are at the moment. So, number one, I want to rewind with you back to the COVID years. So, let's just go back for a second. When COVID hit and schools went remote, I'm not going to lie, I cried a lot. It wasn't just about the workload or the stress, although, yes, both were extremely real in my case. It was more the loss of connection. The classroom suddenly just didn't exist in the same way, and I thrive on personal connection. Obviously, hello, I'm talking to all of you, and I could talk underwater. What do you do when those types of privileges are taken away from you? I realized just how much I needed that, and I needed the daily rhythm, the space, those tiny little moments with the kids, even the hard ones, where you felt seen, where you felt like you mattered. I remember coming back after lockdowns, after being off sick for an entire week, and the kids would say, "Oh, we missed you, miss." Even the tricky ones would settle for a little bit, like they just felt safer with me back in the classroom. And it hit me. I had been pouring so much into my job for years, running on empty half of the time, but deep down, this actually was my passion. And I knew that then. And it wasn't just my why, it was my passion to show up, to connect, and to make a difference in the everyday mess of it all. So for me, and I'll do some more talking about throwbacks to COVID in some other later parts of the series, but I just wanted to basically name it up with you that I think through COVID, it became really clear to me that my passion is for teaching and for educating and for assisting other humans in that space, even if it is adults like you. But that is my passion, and that is a part of my why, because I love doing what I do. I love teaching kids. I love working with children. I love working with adults. I just love helping people. And what better way to do it than by being an educator? And COVID really made me appreciate my job and the privilege it was to be in a classroom. Because online learning was just not for me when it came to teaching kids through a screen. Um, but as I said, we'll talk about that at a later date. But the number one thing is it's passion. And you've got to have some passion for this. Otherwise, it gets really difficult to sustain what you want to do. And I know I've talked to you all about remembering your why before, but part of it's passion. So I really do have a passion for this. But number two, passion isn't always fireworks. So let me talk to you more about this idea of passion. We often think that it has to be this huge lightning bolt or creative explosion, but sometimes passion is quiet. It's that moment when you realize you actually missed the chaos of your own classroom. And I did. It's the fact that even though it's exhausting, you actually still care. Passion is what pulls you forward even when things are tough. And again, during COVID, I started reconnecting with that feeling. But something just shifted. I started asking, can I still love teaching and put myself and my family first? And that's sort of where this journey for me really began. So number three, moving from passion to purpose. So out of that messy emotional space came my next step, which was purpose. And for me, purpose is where your passion touches other people. It's when you take what you love and you use it to serve, not just your students, but yourself, your family, your wider community, just everyone. And that's when I started doing this work on my mindset, really putting myself first, not in a selfish way, but in a sustainable way. I realized that my purpose wasn't just about being in a classroom. It was about helping other teachers remember their worth too, to feel aligned, to thrive, and not burn out like I almost did many times before. And that's where the idea of this podcast came from. That's where Aligned and Thriving was born. From me moving from my passion to my purpose, and how could I make this go further? So you're thinking about that too. What is your passion? Why are we doing this? What is your purpose? What are we doing to keep moving each other forward? Then we get to the fourth part, which is like the product. So that became part of my alignment. It can feel a bit icky though to talk about the word product when you're a teacher, but hear me out. Product doesn't have to mean salesy or businessy. It just means taking your passion and purpose and putting it into something tangible. So that could be making a journal, creating a digital download. And this is where I do my little plug that if you haven't gone and had a look at my Teachers Pay Teachers page, Aligned and Thriving for Teachers there are some really good resources. There's a couple of freebies and then some other ones that you could buy and use yourself. And that's me trying to help you with your passion and your purpose and to help move you forward. You might create resources for other teachers too. You might create a podcast episode like I'm doing. You might write a book like I'm also doing. So surprise, that's still underway. Or you might just create Canva templates and share them with other teachers. You're not reinventing the wheel. We're sharing, we're caring. It's all of the things. But you don't need to be an influencer or own a store. You just need to start with what lights you up and let it grow into something that you can share. I've seen many teachers that have gone through this process from their passion, their purpose to a product, which was like presenting workshops around certain things to help support teachers with stress prevention and all of those things. You might do something like that, or you might just be the absolute best teacher that you can be because your product becomes your students, okay? Because they are in your classroom space. So that's where we start. You have a passion for this job, you have a purpose, and you know why you're turning up every day. And then your product is how you are showing up for your class and all of those things that you are doing in that space. So that's what we're doing. Honestly, this for me, my podcast has just all started from mindset journaling, creating some affirmations for myself. And now I've got a brand, I've got a message. It's just a product of my growth. And no, I'm actually not making any money on this podcast side of things. This is just me sharing my thoughts and opinions because I want to help others just like you. Honestly, it still blows my mind a little that I ended up with the confidence to progress this further. I mean, COVID was a little while ago, so it has taken a bit of time for me to get here, but we're here now. And that means that for you too, that you're allowed to want more. So here's the thing I wish someone else had told me during COVID, that you're allowed to love teaching and still want more. You're allowed to put your family first, 110%, even more. You're allowed to put your family first. And through COVID, that is something that I absolutely learnt, but no one really named it up for me. But I had my kids at home with me. I had to focus on them and we wanted to keep everyone safe. But never in my life have I also felt so alone and stranded away from my family during those times of lockdown and how much we needed like the grandparents in our household, how much we needed to keep everyone safe and healthy, but how much we missed the privilege of being able to just get in the car and drive and go see them. So you were allowed, and you still are allowed, to put your family first. You're allowed to be more than just a teacher. Okay? Remember, I've talked about that in other episodes, that you are more than just a teacher. You're a whole human. That's just one part of it. You're allowed to build something that lights you up, and you are absolutely allowed to shift, change, and grow out of roles that you once felt like was your forever job. If you go all the way back to my introduction, I've gone through lots of that process. I really thought that I was going to be an assistant principal by this point in a particular school, but that wasn't meant to be. And I'm actually so much better off for it at this point in time. So you just never know. And you're allowed to have those choices because you're not failing, you're just evolving. And that all comes in time. So let me bring it all together for you. This is like your alignment flow, I want to call it. Your passion, your purpose, and your product. So your passion, what lights you up? What gives you energy? What would you miss when it's gone? That's what I really focused on during COVID, those things that you missed when you didn't have that privilege. So what is your passion? Your purpose, how you use that energy to help others, and what your work means beyond your task list. Then you've got your product. How are you going to bring it into this world? What you create or you offer from a place of being aligned. You can flow through this cycle over and over again in your life because every season might bring a new version for you. You might change and have a different passion. You might end up producing a different product. It's just part of the process. So if you're listening and thinking, Mel, I don't even know what my passion is anymore, well, don't worry, I've got you. I've got some prompts to help you have a bit of a think and reconnect. So I want you to sit down with a journal, if you've got one, if not, piece of paper, whatever goes, and think about these things. So number one, when do I feel most alive or lit up during the school day? Is it when you're planning lessons? Is it when you're having one-on-one chats with other staff or students? Or is it when you're doing those really fun, creative activities? Have a think, brainstorm, jot it down. Then number two, what do people ask me for help or advice on? This is often a major clue into what your purpose is. What do people come to you for or ask you about? Like all of those things. And number three, if I had 1 hour to work on something just for me, what would I do? And that is your soul asking to create. You don't need to quit your job or launch your business tomorrow. I'm not saying that. You just need to start listening to what your heart is whispering or guiding you to do. So if you have a think about those three questions, that might help you think, what is my passion? What is my purpose? And what is my product? And I'm not saying that you all need to go out and produce a product. Remember, I said your product is starting off with your classroom and within that space. And then let's finish with this. Wherever you are right now, whether you're stressed, hopeful, stuck, inspired, just know this. You have something beautiful to offer. Your passion didn't disappear. It just got buried under all of your to-do lists. You can create from your purpose. You can turn your story into your product, and you can do it in a way that feels good to you. Now, ignoring the fact that my daughter just popped in while I was trying to record, that was the little knock on the door. She's now gone. I want you to go back to focusing on you, okay? So I want you to take a deep breath, okay? So in for 3 and out for 3. Now I want you to put your hand on your heart and say this with me. I am allowed to grow. I am allowed to create. I am allowed to be more than one thing. And keep telling yourself that, okay? Because you're not starting over. You're just returning to yourself. I want you to think about all of those things. And I know it's a lot, but it all has a reason to get you to stop and think and focus on you for a few minutes and think about what you might need to do moving forward. So, if this episode stirred something in you, I'd love to hear about it. Feel free to DM me on Instagram at Aligned and Thriving Teachers, or share your stories, even if you tag me in your stories too. And hey, if you've been dreaming about turning your own passion into a product, but you don't know where to start, reach out because I've got you back there too. And don't forget, If you want to have a look at some of my products that I've tried to produce to help you further and help guide you with your passion, purpose, and product, I've also got some stuff to support you there in the Teachers Pay Teachers space. So the link will be in the show notes as well. But until next time, stay aligned, keep thriving, and remember, you are allowed to want more. So until next time, bye, guys.